January 6th committee has postponed its much-anticipated public hearing that it's scheduled for tomorrow, a hearing that promised to be a grand finale of sorts. The surprise announcement coming less than 24 hours before the meeting was set to begin. In a statement, the committee chairman, Benny Thompson, and vice chair, Liz Cheney, say they decided to delay the hearing due to Hurricane Ian. They say the committee will announce a new date soon. We're learning that the committee was planning to play clips from an unreleased documentary that follows longtime Trump ally Roger Stone in the days and months leading up to January 6th. NBC News has obtained some of those clips. All the way back in July of 2020, months before the election, Roger Stone was already describing a strategy of rejecting election results to keep then-President Trump in power.
The election will not be normal. Oh, these are the California results? Sorry, we're not accepting them. We're challenging them in court. If the electors show up at the Electoral College, armed guards will throw them out. I'm the president. You. You're not stealing Florida. You're not stealing Ohio. I'm challenging all of it, and the judges we're going to are judges I appointed. You. You're not stealing the election.
And here's what Roger Stone said 2 days before the election, when voters hadn't even gone to the polls yet.
Let's just hope we're celebrating. I really do suspect it'll still be up in the air. But when that happens, the key thing to do is to claim victory. Possession is 9/10 of the law. No, we won. You. Sorry, over. We won. Yeah. You're wrong.
NBC News reached out to Roger Stone for comment. He responded, "Any claim, accusation, or even implication that I knew in advance about, participated in, or condone any illegal action at the Capitol or anywhere else on January 6th is false. Additionally, any claim that I was involved in the efforts to delay the certification of the Electoral College are also false. Did I express my opinions on the subject? Yes. That's still allowed in America." Meantime, NBC News has learned the Secret Service confiscated the cell phones of 24 agents involved in the agency's response to the Capitol riot and handed them over to the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General. Happened back in July, around the time the Inspector General launched a criminal investigation into the Secret Service deleting agents' text messages from January 6th. And the seditious conspiracy trial is now underway for members of the Oath Keepers militia group. CNBC senior Washington correspondent Eamon Javers is tracking the trial. Eamon?
Shep, today was all about jury selection as both sides fought to find jurors who might buy into their view of the case. Now, several potential jurors were struck for cause, including one woman who told the court she strongly believed that January 6th was an insurrection by far-right groups. 17 jurors have been deemed qualified so far. Earlier today, Judge Amit Mehta dismissed a last-minute change of venue motion from the defense, who said they worried about juror bias. But Mehta said that of the 150 potential jurors, 45% said they had not watched the January 6th committee hearings, and 40% hadn't even heard of the Oath Keepers. Now, Oath Keepers leader Stuart Rhodes and 4 other members of the group are charged with seditious conspiracy in connection with the January 6th Capitol insurrection. The others are Kelly Meggs, Kenneth Harrelson, Jessica Watkins, and Thomas Caldwell. The government says they intended to, quote, oppose by force the lawful transfer of presidential power, unquote. Under the most serious charge, they could face a maximum of 20 years in prison if they're convicted. Now, separately, today another January 6th rioter, an HVAC worker from Iowa named Kyle Young, was sentenced to more than 7 years in prison. He pleaded guilty back in May to a felony count of assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers. Now, Young used a strobe light to disorient police, helped throw a large speaker at police, and grabbed the wrist of a D.C. police officer, Mike Fanone, when the officer was taken by the mob, according to his plea. Now, Young did all that in the company of his 16-year-old son, who he brought along to the Capitol on that day. Now, people who were in the courtroom say there were some tense moments today. Officer Fanone gave a victim statement, and in it, he told Young that he hopes Young suffers in prison. Now, that led to the supporter of the defendants to insult Fanone with an expletive, and then the two men ended up staring each other down, Shep.
Eamon Javers, live in Washington.